Hi, this is Ken Jones reminding you, if you know your Bible, the Sunday school needs you. If you don't know your Bible, you need the Sunday school. God bless. A story in focus. In church, James and Mariah were leading the adult class discussion on why fighting injustice takes a willingness to take a stand even when you're afraid. After this discussion, Mariah spoke about God's love for justice. Then she reviewed Esther's heroic deeds, and James shared how Esther was a reluctant hero, but eventually changed her mind to stand up for her people. He added that Mordecai's instruction to Esther and his determination for justice provided the catalyst to help save the Jewish people. They reminded the class that Mordecai and Esther literally changed the course of history. Then they asked the class to identify historical figures that represented risk-takers and freedom fighters. Class members named persons like Fannie Lou Hamer, Mary McLeod Bethune, Frederick Douglass, and Martin Luther King. Next, they asked the class to reflect on the sentence on the board, which read, "When you look over your life, how many instances can you recall that you stood up for justice, especially when it was in a very stressful situation?" The class gave different responses about marches they had organized or participated in. After this discussion, James and Mariah asked the class to find 3 scriptures during the week which encouraged them to stand up for justice. Question: how do you stand up for God's justice? Identify when you did not stand up for justice. Esther, chapter 7, beginning at the first verse. So the king and Haman went to Queen Esther's banquet. On this second occasion, while they were drinking wine, the king again said to Esther, "Tell me what you want, Queen Esther. What is your request? I will give it to you, even if it is half the kingdom." Queen Esther replied, "If I have found favor with the king, and if it pleases the king to grant my request, I ask that my life and the lives of my people be spared. For my people and I have been sold to those who would kill, slaughter, and annihilate us. If we were merely been sold as slaves, I could remain quiet, for that would be too trivial a matter to warrant disturbing the king." "Who would do such a thing?" King Xerxes demanded. "Who would be so presumptuous as to touch you?" Esther replied, "This wicked Haman is our adversary and our enemy." Haman grew pale with fright before the king and queen. Then the king jumped to his feet in a rage and went into the palace garden. Haman, however, stayed behind to plead for his life with Queen Esther, for he knew that the king intended to kill him. In despair, he fell on the couch where Queen Esther was reclining. Just as the king was returning from the garden palace, the king exclaimed, "Will he assault the queen right here in the palace before my very eyes?" And as soon as the king spoke, his attendants covered Haman's face, signaling his doom. Then Harbona, one of the king's eunuchs, said, "Haman has set up a sharpened pole that stands 75 feet tall in his own courtyard. He intended to use it to impale Mordecai, the man who saved the king from assassination. Then impale Haman on it," the king ordered. So they impaled Haman on the pole he had set up for Mordecai, and the king's anger subsided. This is Ken Jones reminding you, if you know your Bible, the Sunday school needs you. If you don't know your Bible, you need the Sunday school. God bless.